Welcome to a death battle. Wait, I can't call it that. Hold on. Welcome to the Battle of the Bands to see who's OP. A little segment to compare and contrast similar characters, their strengths, weaknesses, and just who would get banned for being overpowered over all the others. Today we have the two Asian dads of Intel, Rainbow Six Siege Operator Lesion and the Black Ops 4 Specialist Recon. First off, Lesion. You know him, you love him, you wish he would chill out about your grades as he drives you to soccer practice. He could most likely be dropped anywhere on the planet and be found thriving in the wilderness a week later. He's 50% cargo shorts, 50% syringes of Mountain Dew, but all counter-terrorist operator.
There's no easy kill, just quick ones.
Lesion was born Lu Long. Date of birth, July 2nd, making him 44. Place of birth, Junk Bay in Tsuen-Kwai-o. Born in Junk Bay, Lu Long lives in a public housing estate not far from this area. He was raised by his father, who worked for a shipbreaking company and often pulled double shifts. During those years, Lu would stay at the shipyard and help him dismantle obsolete ships for scrapping. As the shipbreaking business began to dwindle out, Lu and his father took some demolition jobs under the table. It all came to a stop when Lu's father injured his back. Lu was 19 and could not support them both with his own income. Quickly crumbling under the depths, he needed money fast. During that time, China sought out volunteers to undertake mine clearance in the province of Yunnan and Guangxi. Lu answered the call and worked for 2 years at defusing hazardous ammunitions. With ample experience in demolition mine disposal, he returned to Hong Kong to join the Explosive Ordnance Disposal Bureau. Soon after, he joined the Special Duties Unit, SDU, to deal with chemical, biological, and radiological nuclear terrorist threats. Psychological report. Fell into an oil tank while scavenging an old ship when he was 10 years old. Trying to break free, he ingested a significant amount of water that seethed with toxins. Since the tank walls were ripped, he managed to break free, but not unscathed. Lu was highly resilient to physical hardships. His mental strength is what set him apart from the younger candidates. He was one of 3 recruits who were able to withstand the extended version of the SAS Resistance Interrogation Program. NB admitted having detected the tang of oily waters during the intense episodes of his resistance interrogation training. 1992 to 1994, mine clearance duty, Hong Kong Explosive Ordnance Disposal Bureau, Chemical, Biological, Radiological, and Nuclear CBRN Defense, Special Duties Unit SDU, Extensive Resistance Interrogation Program. Relative experience, 2009 Hong Kong acid attacks, the 2010 Operation Green Viper, Indonesia and Macau. Notes: resistance to a series of substances and opioids, including morphine. Consult medical file for more details. Now, Lesion has these goo mines. They're little mines that he can place around the map, and the thing about them is they're not just for slowing people down, they're not just for poisoning them and doing damage over time. Lesion is interesting because with a lot of operators that set down gadgets, you can see where all of your mines are that you set down. Not a lot of gadgets have that. So Lesion is very good at intel because you can set these traps and you hear when your trap goes off, you know which ones went off because their marker isn't there on the map anymore. Very crucial to intel. You can put them on choke points. You can put them on, if you're on a second floor, I like to put them on the bottom of steps so I can see what steps people are trying to approach up. So intel is very important for this operator. That's why I chose him for this episode. Going over Lesion's general design, he has a very similar helmet, almost as if he has the same kind of attachment points for how Recon's helmet works. And that was just something that kind of gave me the idea. Going over his design, it's very simple, very simplistic, but there's just something about him that just screams badass. And that's the fact that he goes in freaking cargo shorts. I mean, come on, like, he's picking up the kids from soccer practice at 3 and is whooping terrorist ass at 3:30. This guy could give less of a shit about what is going on because he knows he's in complete control of the situation with his kid. He's in tennis shoes and cargo shorts. I mean, this dude is chill. He knows what he's doing. He's comfortable with what he's doing, and he can do it at a moment's notice. You have look at all his gear. You can see here you have all how he creates the poison. It kind of builds up over time, so you don't get all of them at once. You get one, and then you get up to 7. So he kind of makes them as the battle goes on. Just a very cool. He's got the toothpick. Like, this dude's not messing around. He probably all has this all of this gear in the back of his car, and can just at a moment's notice, he's like, alright, you need some whoop ass? I'm there. I got all these tools. I can do whatever because I'm just a chill motherfucker and I'm gonna mess you up. And that's what's so cool about him. You know, his voice lines are freaking hilarious. If you ever get the time, look up the voice lines for Lesion. He's just a fun dude, and there's just something about his character and the stuff that he says that also reminds me a lot of my own dad. Because, you know, growing up, my dad was in the military. He was a Marine. He was National Guard. And just this stuff that just, I don't know, it's like very nostalgic hearing how he talks. And I just love everything about him. He's super cool. His guns are a lot of fun. And his design is just, they had a lot of fun with this guy. And I can appreciate that. Recon may be new to the game, but he comes across as that wise Asian grandpa that probably has a super samurai badass background that he doesn't tell anybody about. Having a problem with a fellow kid at school, mention it to Grandpa Recon, and for some reason you don't see that kid at school anymore. Nothing more to say than he knows where you are.
A small victory in the greater war.
Recon. Name, Katsumi Kunimura. Date of birth, 03/27/21. Nationality, Japanese. Designation, Intel Operations. His bio now, please bear with me, this is going to be a little bit difficult to read. Raised in the small town of Hagasaki, Kauai. See, that's why it's difficult to read. Bio does this thing where it tries to skip ahead while you read it. It's very annoying. Please pardon that. Raised in the small town of Hagasaki, Kauai, Katsumi was expected to enter the family business, sourcing lumber from nearby forests to supply local artists and artisan furniture makers. He was a loner who had inherited his hair-trigger temper and ran in the family as far back as anyone could trace. During his rages, his grandfather would calm him by teaching him how to read the I Ching, the repetitive casting of coins or sticks allowed him to focus, quieting his mind. His grandfather was taught by his grandfather before him. Mastering the family rage was a multi-generational work in progress. In the 2038, virulent flu ripped through Japan and much of the southern hemisphere, decimating the population of Katsumi and his father were the only members of their family that survived. I'm not saying this right. Higashikawa's populace was reduced to the triple digits. As the nation descended into turmoil, Katsumi joined the National Ground Self-Defense Force to do his part in restoring and maintaining order, rebuilding what had been lost. He has risen steadily through the ranks, stripped of older senior officers, serving as Recon Scout. Now the thing about Recon, he's straight intel. Unlike Lesion, who can get intel from his gadget, he is gadget with straight intel. Intel wins wars. Expose your foes' movements to your team with powerful intelligent gathering capabilities of your sensor dart and vision pulse. So, to start off with the sensor dart, the one that comes first, is basically this little pistol. It's a Star Wars sound effect. I'm pretty sure they just ripped a Star Wars sound effect. You shoot this little dart, you can shoot it anywhere. It's good to try to put it in places that not everybody can see or shoot at easily, and it opens up on your mini-map and exposes any enemies that walk inside of it for like a short duration. The vision pulse is pretty much the exact same thing as the abilities that you had in Black Ops 3 with I believe her name was, I remember what her name was, the chick with the bow and arrow, and pretty much the Widowmaker from Overwatch. She has the exact same ability where it's your special, you activate it, you put down your goggles, your 4-way goggles, and you can see through the map, and all your teammates get it too, where you can see through the pulses the real-time movements of where all of the enemies are at the time for a short duration. So his isn't so much slowing down attackers and gaining intel through that, as Lesion is more of a trapper intel gatherer. Recon is straight intel with his special abilities. Overall, I think what drew me to Recon personally and why I wanted to do this was I wanted to go over the design of the character. I mean, he's very modern, very much a futuristic soldier, kind of in the vein of Black Ops has always done, but there is a simplicity to him. He looks also like he could be like a modern day soldier with the helmet and, you know, the camo and some of his details. I would also like to point out that he has a freaking sword on his hip. I don't know what kind of sword, but it's a sword. He has a freaking sword on his hip, and that's just badass. It just kind of adds to his personality. I like how through his uniform you have this red fabric that you can kind of see, and he's used as stitching. I like that detail. It kind of adds a little bit of personality. His camo, his default skin, I very much enjoy the pattern of the camouflage. His helmet, the details he's got, like those, I don't know what you would even call those, like chin guards, you know, and the goggles that come down and activate for his special ability. His backpack is very, you know, standard, futuristic looking. But yeah, just overall, you take all these separate pieces, you have a very interesting looking character, the way he was designed. You can just see the little things that were thought out into him. Overall, very pleased, very badass, very stoic, very, yeah, I'll mess you up because I know where you are. And I just love that. And the fact that he has a freaking sword on his hip. Like, what is not to love about that? To conclude, who do I think would win? Honestly, I believe it's very situational. I believe that Recon has the edge at the beginning with his intel gathering abilities, but Legion's interesting because the fight against Lesion, the longer you take to get at him, to fight him, the more of an advantage he has. So depending on the situation, I think either one of them is possible to have the edge over the other. I'm clearly biased towards Lesion. I just play Siege way more. But I think depending on the situation, one might have the edge over the other. And that's why I really think that this discussion should be up to you guys. What do you guys think? Let me know down below, who do you guys think is the better Asian dad of Intel. And please like and subscribe, and I'll try to do this again sometime.